word nerds, Kate here, and today's words are all about Disney's 2019 remake of the movie Aladdin. For the purposes of this video, I'm really just going to be comparing the two Disney movies. If you're interested in learning where the story came from, I did a blog post earlier this week about the origins of Aladdin. So, as I mentioned, I saw the new Aladdin earlier this week with some friends, and I really enjoyed it. Just overall, if you watch nothing else, I had a lot of fun. I try to avoid any major spoilers, but I do sort of get into spoiler territory in this review. Granted, most of us know the story, but there are some little things that might surprise you that I'm going to try not to ruin. Jumping right in. First of all, I'm going to start with some of the smaller things, and then I'm really going to jump into more character comparison, because as a storyteller, the characters are kind of a big deal to me, and they're really what I notice most about movies. Yes, I also look at plot, but this plot didn't really change that much, so. First of all, Alan Menken came back and rewrote a new score for the movie. It incorporates a lot of the stuff from the original movie, kind of tweaked to fit this version, and I did even catch a couple of little snippets of songs from the Broadway shows woven into the background music, which was really cool. The only big change musically was that Jasmine got a brand new song called Speechless, which I, for one, thought was awesome. And I'll kind of get into why when I talk about what they did with her character. Obviously, the biggest difference between the original Disney animated movie and this version was that this version was live action with CG incorporated, and I don't know, it was visually stunning, but if I had to choose which one I liked better to watch, I'd probably still pick the animated version, just because with CG you're almost trying so hard to make things look real that you kind of lose some of the fantastical, magical things that you can do with it. The biggest example for me of this was actually the comparison between Abu and the carpet. Now, both of them were obviously CG, but they were trying so hard to make Abu look like a real monkey, which is great, and they did, and it was very convincing for the most part. But the carpet actually had more expression, even though it didn't have a face. And I just remember some of the crazy expressions and the things that Abu would do in the original animated version, and I kind of missed it in this. Like I said, the story is almost identical to the original Disney. There are little changes in characters, which I'll get to in a minute. They added some scenes, they added a couple smaller characters. So, moving on to my favorite part, the characters. I'm actually going to start with Aladdin, because I don't know, I felt like of all the characters in this movie, he was kind of, I don't want to say the most bland, but he definitely lived in the shadows of the other characters and actors, which was sort of weird because, you know, the movie is called Aladdin, he's kind of the main character, but I don't know. The actor did a great job. His singing was a little weird sometimes, but I'm also just a big music snob, so that might just be me. But yeah, I mean, not awful, but not necessarily memorable either. Jasmine was probably my favorite character in this movie, and I've always loved Jasmine as a princess, but the things they did with her character in the remake were phenomenal in my opinion. Like I said, she got her own song, which was amazing, and so here's my thing. Going on a long rant here. During the 1990s-ish, Disney went on this empowered princess kick, but basically just made a lot of girls who threw tantrums and or ran away from home. And that's kind of disappointing. I want more from my princesses. And so Jasmine was very much in that kind of group of princesses. Not to say it wasn't understandable that she wanted to leave home and experience the world, but I've always wanted a little bit more from her, and this movie gave me so much more. And again, getting into spoilers here, in this movie, Jasmine isn't so much against an arranged marriage as she is bringing in a stranger to rule her country. Jasmine wants to be the next sultan because she's lived here her whole life. She knows these people. She can't imagine any outsider doing a better job ruling them than her. And I so appreciate that, because It just brings so much more depth to her character. It shows how much she cares about the people she's in charge of. And it's more than just, I don't want to do what you say, or I want what I want more than what's best for the country. It's so deep and it's so great, guys. So for me, that was like the biggest and best change that they made in the whole movie, really. Jafar was very different in this movie. I don't know if it's just because Jonathan Freeman, even just as a voice actor, had such presence and depth to his voice that you just can't replicate that with another actor. But this Jafar was just a lot more soft-spoken and subtle, and so we didn't see the true evil until really the very end, and I kind of like seeing it throughout the whole movie. So I was a little sad about that. And getting on to the character that everyone wants to know about, the genie. Okay, possible unpopular opinion. I think Will Smith did a great job. Please don't kill me. Now, I am not saying he did a better job than Robin Williams, because I'm not saying that. I think they both did great performances. And for me, the thing that worked best was that they gave very different performances. Robin Williams played the genie as a over-the-top, goofy, all-powerful, but you don't always remember that kind of genie, who did a lot of impersonations and pulling in a lot of 90s pop culture references, whereas Will Smith played the genie as a very laid-back, kind of a bro. And for me, it actually even worked a tiny bit better in that respect, because Aladdin and Genie's friendship seems to grow a lot more naturally and be a lot deeper, which makes Aladdin's decision that he's not going to free the genie that much more of a betrayal. Now, all this being said, if you asked me to pick which version is my favorite, I'd probably still say the animated version. It's just so classic, and I don't know, there's something about that old hand-drawn animation style that I just love, and the movie was just, Here's my thing. I wish Disney would stop making remakes. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that, but so many of the original Disney movies were good and we loved them for what they were, and I wish Disney would start making more original movies instead of just trying to recapture the magic of what they had before. But if you're interested in more of my words, or if you want to see the origins of Disney's Aladdin, you can check out my blog or find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All my information is below. Let me know, do you agree? Is Disney doing a good thing with all these remakes, or do you want to see more original stories from them? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you will see me next time, word nerds.